The Colts are about to close out their preseason playing the Eagles on Thursday night. And the good news is that Anthony Richardson and the starters will be playing. So we're going to have an opportunity here to be able to see what this team looks like heading into the regular season, especially against the Eagles. This offense, especially the offensive line against the Eagles, is going to be very interesting to watch. Maybe the thing I want to watch the most in this game, and the thing I'm interested in the most, is to see how our offensive line holds up against this Eagles front. And I expect this Eagles front to be a problem for every offensive line. Okay. I don't expect this to be great, but I want to see if the offensive line is showing improvement from last season, right? How does Bernard Raymond look? How does Ryan Kelly look? I'm not so worried about Quentin Nelson. He's not going to win every rep. I know social media, like, Titans fans and Jaguars fans, every time Quentin Nelson loses one rep in a game, they like to blast it on social media. Like, Quentin Nelson's fine. All right. It's Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Bernard Raymond that I'm really worried about. And if we can get better play from those positions and we can look good in the preseason game tomorrow, like, I have faith going into this season that the boys will be able to protect Anthony Richardson. And when they can't, he's going to be able to run away from most people. Okay. That's one of the things that scares me about this game is the Eagles have so many big guys that can run about as fast as Anthony Richardson. All right. I do not want Anthony Richardson getting touched by anybody on this Eagles team, especially the front. Like, Jordan Davis falling on Anthony Richardson is like one of my worst fears. I just keep imagining that. And I'm hoping, like, they just don't touch him. Please don't touch him. If they're about to touch you, please just go to the ground. Don't let them hurt you, Anthony. Please. Like, we're about to have fun this season. We might not win a bunch of games, but we're about to have fun this season if Anthony Richardson stays healthy. So, looking forward to seeing what this offensive line can do. And of course, what Anthony can do and his playmaking ability. And I think that some of what the Eagles defense is going to do and what their defensive line can do and the pressure they'll be able to generate, we're about to see just how much of a playmaker and just how elusive Anthony Richardson is and just how good his pocket presence is. I think this is a game where he can really kind of show off those skills about himself. And I'm going to call my shot here. I think early on, Alec Pierce is going to burn James Bradbury for a deep touchdown. We're talking like 65-yard touchdown on the first drive of the game. And, well, the first Colts drive of the game. And Colts fans are going to go nuts on Twitter. And I can't wait for it, okay? It's going to happen. I'm manifesting that. That's going to happen. All right. So we've already talked about the offensive line. We've already talked about the quarterback. Of course, we want to see what the running backs are going to do if we don't have JT, and we want to see what the wide receivers and tight ends are going to do as the pass catchers on this team. Who's going to be in the starting lineup? One game it was Josh Downs. One game Isaiah McKenzie sat out with the starters. So you would presume that meant he's the starter. Not really sure what's happening there. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. I know Isaiah McKenzie got hurt in practice, but he came back. So I presume he's probably going to play. So really interested to see just how good all these receivers are. I'm interested to see how the tight end situation looks. Jelani Woods is still being held out of practice, but the other tight ends are back. So who's going to be starting? Is it going to be Mo Alley Cox? I assume probably Mo Alley Cox is going to be in there with Kylan Granson. And then Drew Ogletree will probably be with the second team. But that's really one of the groups I'm very interested in all throughout training camp and all throughout these games, these preseason games, especially Drew Ogletree. Like, heard so much about him last year in training camp, and then he tore his ACL. Now he's coming back, and I'm ready to see him in a game. I'm ready to see him with the ball in his hands. I want to see what he looks like on tape. And that's something that we're finally going to get to see. So I'm excited for that. And it's exciting that the Colts are getting so many starters back on defense now. Okay, starting to get some depth on defense. We're going to see what this defense is able to do against a top-tier offense in the NFL. Because at the end of the day, that's what the Eagles are, man. They are still stacked with talent. Like, they're better at running back this year. They still have their receivers. They still have their quarterback. They still have a great offensive line. So The Eagles are going to be tough to stop. And I'm interested to see how our defensive starters are able to perform against their defensive starters. And I honestly, now that we're getting so many guys back and we're getting deeper, I'm ready to see what that second team really looks like and see how that second team performs against the second team of the Eagles. Because honestly, I think we could match up well. I honestly think we might be able to dominate their second team from defense to offense, and because the Eagles' defense is deep. There's a good chance that Eagles defense is all over the place on the second team offense for us. But I do think our second team defense can outshine the Eagles' second team offense. So I know where a lot of Colts fans live. You guys live in Indiana. I moved to Florida a few years ago, but I know Indiana has betting. If you're a betting person, I would guess that second half is going to be a low scoring affair. Defenses are going to dominate. But, I just think there's so much potential on the defense. It's so young on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm really interested to see kind of how everything looks against the Eagles, right? The Eagles just went to the Super Bowl. I really like that we're playing them in the preseason because there's so much hype about us right now, right? We have Anthony Richardson. He's starting week 1. Like, whether Jonathan Taylor's here or not, like, people outside of Indy aren't hyping us, but Colts fans know what the situation is. Right, Colts fans, at least the ones paying attention, right? Especially if you're keeping up with the videos, you're very in tune with how this Colts roster looks right now. There's a lot of reason to be excited. And this game, it's just a preseason game, but this game's going to tell us a lot going into the regular season about how this Colts team will perform. So I'll make sure to get a video to you guys as soon as I possibly can after the game is over. It's going to be a late night game, so it'll probably be a Friday morning type of thing, but I'll make sure to have that for you guys. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on to stay up to date on everything Colts. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Go Colts.